Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Happy Wicked Weekend to all who celebrate. Did I see it immediately on opening day? Of course. Anyone else? Amazing. Am I going back to see it again? Yes, probably more than once. I am, to borrow a word from Glinda the Good, obsessulated. As soon as the last notes of Defying Gravity sound in Wicked Part 1, Elphaba, now dubbed the Wicked Witch of the West, takes flight for the next chapter of her journey in Part 2, Wicked for Good. As the now essentially exiled Elphaba sets out to confront and expose the wizard for the lying, insecure fraud that he is, having witnessed for herself firsthand the horrors perpetuated by his dangerous regime, the literal silencing and disappearing of the animals of Oz, and anyone that dares to get in the way, all in the name of building this newer, greater Oz. Too late for second guessing, too late to go back to sleep, Elphaba sings, refusing to turn a blind eye to what she has seen and cannot unsee. I think I'll try defying gravity, upsetting the status quo, flipping harmful norms upside down, transforming the world as she knows it into the world as it can be. It's no secret that the world as we know it is becoming an increasingly scary and hostile place. On this, the 100th anniversary of Christ the King Sunday, a day set aside by Pope Pius XI in his 1925 encyclical Quas Primas, seeking to counter at the time the rise of secularism and nationalism in the aftermath of World War I, and the growing threats of fascism in Italy and Germany, we would do well to be reminded of the historical context and the theological significance of this day, asserting the ultimate authority of Christ above any earthly ruler, king, president, wizard, or otherwise, a point underscored by the official, if not wordy, Roman Catholic name for this day, the solemnity of our Lord Jesus Christ, King of the universe. In a new hymn commemorating the centennial of this comparatively modern feast day, the Reverend Carolyn Winfrey Gillette offers these words, connecting Pius's times to our own, vividly illuminating the relevance that this day still holds. Her hymn goes like this. In 1925, as hate and violence grew, O Christ, your churches emphasized, we follow only you. As one who gave himself in love, you showed us all God's way. As one who reigns in heaven above, you call us to obey. No earthly king, no race or land should think that it is best. We see your reign and understand that all in you are blessed. Lord, may we welcome strangers here and humbly help the poor. The world calls us to pride and fear, but your love calls us more. As hate and violence surge again, remind your church anew that we're committed to your reign. Lord, may we follow you. Follow where? To a gilded, glorious throne room in the sky? No. Follow to the cross, which is exactly where we find Jesus in this gospel text for Christ the King this year. Crucified alongside criminals, one on his right and one on his left, scoffed by the leaders of the people, mocked by the soldiers of the empire, derided even by one of the criminals hanging next to him. Upending our expectations, Christ is a king who reigns not from a throne, but from the cross. Christ's kingship is nothing like what we'd expect or imagine from a king. It is not regal or majestic or conquering, It does not reside in gilded palaces or build grand ballrooms for itself. It is bloodied and mocked and by all appearances defeated, though of course we know the ending, which only makes the present circumstances here in this text all the more remarkable by contrast. Christ's kingship is a kingship steeped in paradox and brimming with subversions, as Susan Breel's hymn text, which we just sang, reminds us. God's glory becomes frail human flesh in the person of Jesus. Power is revealed in weakness. Beauty is revealed in what is despised. Wisdom is revealed in foolishness. And life and love are ultimately revealed in dying. The reign of Christ, which is full of out-of-the-blue surprises, offers even more. Spoken in Jesus' literal dying words, not words of anger or bitter vengeance, but words of love and tender forgiveness. This gospel reading, one commentary asserts, focuses on the dying ones and on Jesus, the dying one. And it's not what we expected. God's surprise is that Jesus, with his last bit of effort before death, focuses on others, sinners. Bleeding on the cross, Jesus nonetheless sweeps us into an eternal movement of forgiveness, gratitude, and love. This forgiveness is entirely free. This gratitude accepts all our meager, failed attempts. This love is at once finalized here and carried on forever. It really shouldn't be all that surprising for a man who spent his life reaching to the margins, mingling with tax collectors and sinners, extending God's extravagant love to the lost and the least, and yet in the midst of a self-serving empire, as much then as now, as much in 1925 as in 2025. Such love is radical. The love with which Christ loves, even in the throes of death on the cross, is surprising. It upsets the status quo. It flips harmful norms upside down. It transforms the world as we know it into the world as it can be. It defies gravity itself. Scoffed and mocked her entire life for being different, even by her own family, Elphaba had every right to harbor anger and bitter resentment, every reason to leave it all behind when given the chance. In one of two new songs, not in the original stage production, but written especially for this new film, she sings, and this is about where I lost it and wished I had another box of tissues. She sings, "Why do I love this place that's never loved me? A place that seems to be devolving and even wanting to." And yet with the same resolve that compels her to defy gravity, and with a nod to Dorothy Gale's famous heel-tapping words, Elphaba professes her commitment to resist and vows to fight to save the place she loves and calls home. When you feel you can't fight anymore, just tell yourself, there's no place like home. When you feel it's not worth fighting for, compel yourself, because there's no place like home. There's something to this love thing, a kind of out-of-the-blue, surprising love, a love that plays by its own rules, taking its example from a first-century itinerant preacher who himself refused to play by the rules of the empire's game. A kind of love that resists and insists that no empire that there is or was will get the final word. A kind of gravity-defying love that transforms the world as we know it into the world as it can be. It's time to try defying gravity, to love extravagantly, to proclaim boldly that the world is about to turn in the reign of the one who has come and is coming to make all things new.